Like I started playing guitar at 16
Mm.
because we lost our first guitar player. I'm like, well, someone has to learn.
Never found him either.
Never found him. Yep, that's still gone. Still out there somewhere in the ether. Where'd you go?
Hey, what's up? It's Paul from Guitar World, and today I am joined with the legendary Lizzie Hale and Joe Hottinger from Halestorm. They're on tour supporting their new album, Everest, and I'm just really, really thankful that you're here to talk to us about it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, you guys are great. Are you guys like gear nerds, or like obviously you're Gibson heavy, and you're the first female brand ambassador, which must be amazing.
I know, that's really crazy, yeah.
I think it's great. It's well deserved. And you came up with a great guitar here.
Thanks.
So.
My guitar here is my first signature model that we ended up doing back in 2011, 2012.
Yeah, around there.
And mahogany body, mahogany neck, rosewood fretboard.
I've seen things.
It used to be alpine white. You know,
Looks like you've
I
been
don't.
smoking
I know. I was going to say I don't smoke, but it definitely got that cigarette yellow thing going on.
It's great.
And then all of the dark kind of gray is just from all the leather over the years. You know, it's been loved to death.
And you always loved the Explorer shape. That was your thing.
Yeah, I mean, originally I was a Les Paul girl, and then what I fell in love with the Explorer shape really while we were making our first album out in California. I ended up getting my first Explorer off of Craigslist. This poor guy, he had his guitar, and he's like, he had to sell it because of medical bills, and so like I went to go see him, and he was so incredibly excited that it was going to actually get played and go out on the road. But what I love about the Explorer shape is that it doesn't matter whether you're like front row or in the nosebleed section. It's like you see that shape and it's undeniable. It's like, okay, this isn't going to be country. This probably isn't going to be pop. This has to be rock and roll.
There's like three great shapes for like hard rock and heavy metal. It's the V, the Explorer, and the SG. Like those are the shapes.
Yeah.
It's funny because I talked to Phil Collin one time about his guitar, and he was funny. He was saying when he got into Def Leppard, it was he had just come out of playing small clubs, and he says then he went right from graduating from that to arenas, and he said it's like the one thing about that you learn about being in an arena is that everything you do has to be a grander gesture, because the people up in the nosebleeds, if they see one guy just sitting there playing guitar, everything has got to be, you got to make bigger movements. And then of course having a guitars like this, you could like, oh, there's Lizzie and there's Joe, with those kind of shapes. It's very cool. So what about you, Joe? When is your signature model to hang out?
I have a guitar problem, so I just keep, I think I have like 80 some guitars at home. And
87, yes.
And I like on these US tours, I'll bring out 20 some just because I like playing them all and I really like them all, and it's hard to pick.
Is it all, I mean, I saw you with an SG and I've seen you with the V, but that's a newer one.
Yeah, this is a new V. And
any others?
Yeah, I'm in all the Carina stuff right now. I just got a really cool Carina Les Paul. They did like 100 of them in 2008 or 2007. And it sounds so good. I don't know what is up with that wood, but I have like an older Carina SG that sounds great. And we both got the Carina reissues when they came out, like 2021, 2022. And so I have my Carina V. So I'm in like a Carina mode right now, but mostly it's green guitars and Carinas. I talked to Gibson a few years ago about, so you guys have never made a green V custom Widow. And I've always thought the Widows were cool looking, where they don't shave off the green overlay.
Yep.
And so Cesar confirmed it is the first, and I think only green.
I've never seen anything like that.
Widow V until they start making them, and then it won't be. But in the meantime, it sounds great. It feels great. It's a big chunky neck.
Yeah,
like
I can see it from here. It's a big chunky neck.
It's a fat boy.
Were you guys particular about pickups or anything like that with your guitars, or just?
With this one, I ended up using classic 57s. In my Explorer Bird, I have the 70s pickups, and then I have these Lizzie Buckers that they ended up custom winding for me that I have in a couple of them. They're really hot. So it depends on it depends on where I want to use it and which guitar.
I only mess with pickups if
it's a lot of noise.
The guitar is a little too like if it gets a bit too squealy. Like we play really loud stage volume with our Marshalls, and a lot of guitars handle it great. But if a pickup's like too hot, it's just not quite right. Like this one was a bit squealy. We went out on Maiden.
Yeah.
We had like a stack of plexis behind me, and it would just be, yeah. I was like, oh my
So wait,
God.
you guys are actually using real amps out there? Wow.
Yeah.
You guys are
Yeah.
an anomaly.
You should see our setup right now. We have tone henge.
Tone henge. It's
Wow.
Marshalls in henge form.
Henge
Yeah.
form,
We have 4
because
henges.
why not?
That's
It's-
awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Wow.
We thought some old rock and rollers would laugh at that because
I love it.
Spinal Tap
You're one of the few
reference.
people that is pushing air on the stage. I think
Yeah.
that's awesome.
it's
Yeah, there's something about it. We've tried, the
Guitar
Axe
modeling?
Effector, the
we have,
Kemper
I have
things.
Kemper in the studio, and
Yeah, like
it's fine.
it's a great tool and everything, but just live, there's just
I tried it once. I tried the Axe
it's
Effects
very
once,
noticeable.
and I barely got through the show. I was like, what? The second you go out there, I was like, oh no, I've made a mistake. This is
Yeah.
not right at all. I was like, oh no. And it's probably just my fault because I don't know how to tweak it till it's right. But
Yeah.
I know people use them all the time and they sound great. And
No, but you guys are
it's very-
knob twisters and
Yeah. Yeah. And we're always getting different amps and trying different things. And
so pretty much Marshalls. You guys are using Marshalls at live.
Marshalls, and what I really love is those Fender Tone Masters from the 90s.
Yes.
Custom shop ones,
Yes,
like
yeah.
the Marshall. Yeah, they sound amazing.
Yeah.
I got a few of those, and those new Bogner snorkelers. Have you tried that?
I have not.
I just
Not yet.
had
Cool.
2 made in European power form to go for the European.
You're gonna have to wait
try.
on that.
But but it's like
Go for deer.
it's plexis, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
plexis all day.
Wow.
So she has the 800s. She's like the 800 sound.
Yeah.
I do
That's so
plexi.
interesting. That's so
Good
interesting.
combo.
And do you use any pedals or anything, or you just pretty much
Yeah,
It's a constant rotation.
yeah.
Yeah. Right now, I have that Brothers, that Chase Bliss
Yes.
Brothers with
The King of Tone.
the King of Tone
Yeah.
mixed with the whatever. I
Yeah.
don't even know.
Little secret sauce in it.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the basic, because I run the amp. It's a little dirty,
Mhm.
but I'm not overdriving it not too much gain on the amp.
Yeah.
So I do that one to kind of bring it up, and then I have just like a Klon for solo leads on to stack it on top. Just holds forever.
That's wild. Anytime you use any time-based effects or anything like that? No. Do you guys are pretty much rock and rollers?
Yeah, there's like I have a little delay on
Yeah,
the
we-
lead
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Same. Just a little
some
bit of
modulation, like chorus or some verbs for neighbors, but
we're pretty meat and potatoes,
It's so refreshing.
Yeah.
we don't use a click track or anything.
Yeah, there's no click,
just-
there's no miming,
4 of
no
us making
tracks.
noise.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, your
us
brother's
interpreting.
holding it down, so,
Yeah.
so that's a good
But
thing.
which is interesting. I remember we played Lollapalooza in Sweden, and I think we were one of maybe one
like
other band that,
Lana Del Rey, Billie Eilish, and like
But-
Travis Scott were headlining. And
Yeah.
but everybody was on tracks, and so we're like we go there like, well, now for something completely different. And this is one of those shows where we had the show, and then we had a bunch of press afterward, and there's all these like the radio station people, and everybody was like, "What was that? That was just a force of nature." And it was like, we literally plug in and we play, like no one can figure this out.
There's little
It's-
girls in Travis
was
Scott
interesting,
shirts, like they
yeah.
were like,
How does this?
How do you-
Yeah, it was fun.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so it's
hilarious.
become interesting to choose, and like look, like we don't knock anybody that uses like whatever you want to do,
Mhm.
and do
make your
you
music.
do you,
Who cares?
Yeah.
you do what you want to do. But for us, it's like it's become such an anomaly that it's like on the reverse end of it, where it's like nobody can figure out what it is, because there's that
on there?
we just love the human element, and we love having the
We're
freedom.
making mistakes constantly. That's
of
what's going on. And just
Yeah.
we've learned how to recover, and maybe you don't know, but we all look
Yeah.
at each other like, hey.
Yeah.
That's
Write
great.
the trade.
So then obviously you don't use any in-ear stuff, or do you a little bit?
We use in-ears for we have monitors as well, but we use in-ears
like
just
to
for
have-
the intricacies.
I like to use the in-ears as earplugs, get a good sound with
Have
everything,
'em
I
up a
can
little
hear
bit.
everything, and then turn it up and just accentuate
Yeah.
Yeah.
what I want accentuated.
Yeah. So to the 4 of us, you hear the small parts and the the more magnified.
You get to listen to the nuance of what everyone's
Yeah. And then we
playing.
get to make fun of each other later. We're just like, I heard you blow that note. I heard it.
But isn't that the best? It's usually after the gig. It's like it's the ball busting. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
just
yeah.
I saw what you just did there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
good.
That's how you get better. You bust them,
That's all. That's
And as long as it's not like the same mistake over and over, then it's like, all right,
Oh, you
we
gotta
all
do
have to
something
work
about
at it, or
this,
you
yeah.
have to work on that part.
Yeah.
I love it.
But it's usually new mistakes, and then we just talk like, we made some new mistakes tonight. Never blew that one before. That was fun.
Man, I've been playing that song for 10 years, and that was a different
found
chord.
a new way to screw it up.
Yeah, I was like, I love what you did in that foreign part. You know, it's great.
We just call it going to Berkeley. You know?
Oh my God.
Follow along.
That's so great. I was gonna say after so many years of together, like how you have the band is such a healthy relationship, and you guys are proving it by being able to really call everyone out and just have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, we always say that's one of our biggest accomplishments, you know, that we haven't killed each other yet, and that's like no,
fantastic.
you know,
Because we're deadly honest with each other.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Good.
You know, it's like I mean, being in a band, you know, it's like a marriage. You know, you have to want to be together and want to continue to grow together and to support each other and again, like you said, deadly honest. Like, you know, and that's been, you know. It's at times frustrating. It was like you could sugarcoat it a little bit, you know.
I have no tact.
No, but it's great because, you know, we're in an industry that I think thrives on a lot of ass kissing. And there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of yes people and no, and like opinions, and a lot of that stuff doesn't necessarily matter, and a lot of fluff. So, the fact that we're surrounded by each other,
We can trust each other.
We know.
I don't know about everyone else.
We'll
But
tell each other the truth.
There's no passive aggressive. It's an East Coast thing as opposed to the West Coast thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I love it. That's great. You said you're from Pennsylvania. How did you guys actually end up meeting and putting that band together? I'm just curious.
Well, anyone from like the Philly scene in the early 2000s knows about Origivation magazine. It was a little paper magazine that was at every music venue. Anthony Corrado put it out.
Yeah.
And I just answered an ad in the back of that. She was looking for a guitar player.
I put out an ad.
We had never met. I didn't know who they were.
Hmm.
They didn't know who I was. And I don't know. I was like, oh, you sing pretty good.
Yeah, you showed up.
You sing all right, girl.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome because, you know, we thanks. You know, we had my brother and I, you know, we started the band in '97, and you know, up until we met Joe, we had, you know, a couple different, you know, kids in the band, and it was either, you know, the parents didn't want them in the band, or it was too hard, and we're like, it's too hard now. We're never gonna make it to the next level, you know, that kind of thing. So, one of the, you know, last times we had, you know, our guitar player and bass player had left. They're like, oh, it'd be easier for us to be in a cover gig. So I'm like, okay, fine. And we ended up, you know, meeting this man, David Ivory, out in Pennsylvania and in Philly. He had a studio. He's like, well, why don't you come down and you know, we'll record some of your songs, and you know, we'll help you kind of fill up the time space, and you can use my studio to audition people. And so yeah, you answered the ad, and it was great because a lot of the people that were answering that ad were like my dad's age. But they would send in like their photos from when they were 20, you know, and then they'd show up and be like, "Oh, dude," you know, which is totally fine. You know, no offense to the older rockers, but at the time we're like, we kind of want somebody our
Forgot
age.
to add a current photo.
Yeah, I didn't know I had to do that. That was, you know, so.
That was funny. I met Lizzie, and I was like, and she was one of the first people I've ever met that had kind of the same ideas that or at least like, yeah, we can do this. We just have to do it. Like we can be musicians, and let's just do it. You write songs, you put on a good show, you make moments, and that's all we're still doing.
Were you playing guitar as a front woman as well? Yeah. And so then you walked in, you were like, oh, she plays guitar as well.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, so you decided to kind of work with the dual guitar duties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You never had any problems. Like it's like, no, I'm going to play that. You're going to do this.
No, we've always been very naturally like completing each other.
That's great.
And
We started
his-
writing songs. We were like, well, we need a guitar solo, and I was like, shit. I didn't know how to solo. I was just like, I was winging it, you know. Still trying to figure that part out. But
I don't know. You're real consistent. I've seen some of the live stuff. You guys are just like tight. It's great.
yeah, we've played enough. I think you know, it's starting to come together.
That's
eventually, right?
That's fantastic. So let me talk about a little bit about back to the beginning, where you guys were just played there, and that must have been a monumental experience being surrounded by your musical peers and contemporaries. Can you tell us a little about like what it was like?
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild. You know, I can't believe that we were even there. You know, I was like, what are we doing here? This is
when
crazy.
we got the call and we're like, you know, Sharon's asking you to be a part of this, and like, is this real? Like,
Well, we didn't know.
Us, right?
It was this email. It was like, hey, Sabbath is going to play one last gig with the original 4 members, and maybe Metallica might be there. Do you guys want to be on the show? We're like, well, yeah,
Yeah, of course.
of course.
Yeah.
And that's all we knew about it. Then they announced it, and we're like, oh, this is like a whole thing. And yeah, it was wild. And the whole vibe backstage, it was a big, we always say it was a big love fest.
Yeah.
It was. Everyone was so just happy to be there. Like talking to Adam from Tool, he's like, can you believe this? Like, this is crazy. What are we doing here? Like,
Yeah. What did he say about the bucket list?
It's like we were like, yeah, it's like a bucket list thing. He's like, yeah, but it wasn't ever on the bucket list, but it totally
It was like a
checks
secret, invisible section of your own bucket list that you didn't even know about.
It's really like it's like fulfilling a bucket list with that when you haven't even fleshed it out. You know, it's sort of like it's a weird.
And it was neat. Like all the bands, we're all just on this rotating stage, and it wasn't really any production. You play your songs, and the stage turns, and the next band plays, and you just kind of plug in and play. And
wow,
and it was awesome. It was so much fun, and I mean, playing itself was chaos. It was a lot of energy. And it was over. We had like 15 minutes, but
was it the biggest crowd you guys played for? Would you say, or I don't?
I mean, if you
had the streamers,
the
week before that, it was funny. We were on tour with Iron Maiden over in Europe, and the week before we were in London at London Stadium, and it was like 75,000 people at that stadium. So we got to Birmingham. We're like, it's okay. We don't have to be nervous. This is a small stadium. There's only 45,000
45,000. But then they told us afterward that there was like 5 million people streaming. So I'm like, okay, well, that counts.
Glad we didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's such perspective, right, for you guys. It's amazing.
It was really beautiful too, because we were at rehearsals the day before, and you're hanging out with Steven Tyler, and James is there, and Tom Morello and Axl Rose, but it was like everybody was the same. Like no head was higher. Everybody was like in this giddy, almost like childlike state, and
the same energy all around.
Yeah, it was really neat. And we talked about it afterward. Like, I don't think we'll ever experience anything like that again. And and then we were just,
you hope to, but
but
it was just really special, and especially the whole Ozzy and Ozzy doing his last show. We were out in the middle of the crowd with like the Osbournes were by us, and a bunch of other band people, and it was emotional. You watch it, like Ozzy singing "Mama, I'm Coming Home," and he was home, and like everyone was crying, and I keep trying to like figure out like how to describe. I think the closest I've gotten is everyone was kind of on the same emotional wavelength watching them, and I think it was amplified. You're in a stadium like that, and that's what was really special was, I think, all the humans together kind of feeling the same thing kind of just amplified these emotions.
Yeah, it's like this hive mind almost.
Yeah, it was really crazy feeling. It was awesome.
It must have been amazing. Did you get a chance to have any? Did you get a chance to talk to Ozzy? Any memorable moment with him?
We talked to Sharon and then to Tony Iommi the most.
We didn't get to talk to Ozzy.
We were planning on it, but every time they wheeled poor Ozzy and he would get mobbed by everybody, we're like, I don't want to be that guy,
Be cool, honey bunny.
In hindsight, we probably should have been that
just
guy.
mobbed him. Like, ah!
That's great. And then, and of course, you guys did, Perry Mason, and it's funny. I'm listening to your interpretation of Perry Mason. I'm like, this song could have been a Halestorm song. It's like the way you executed it was just like it's like it was. I've actually made me listen to Perry Mason differently than because I wasn't not the biggest fan of that song to begin with, but the way you guys did it, I was just like, wow, this song's really good.
Oh, thank you so much.
Because the way you guys it was just you put your spin on it, and I was just like, man, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah,
how did you pick that one?
Well, that wasn't what we were going to be playing until about 2 weeks out. We were going to be playing a National Acrobat outside of Bloody Sabbath, the second.
Oh.
Yeah, we worked up a National Acrobat, and then Morello was like, "Hey, you can't do that." I think Metallica was gonna. I'm like, "All right, fine."
He had talked about too. He's like, Tony Iommi hasn't made up the set list. Like, so maybe there's that. He's like, but there's it's up in the air with that one now. I'm like, okay.
And we're like, I bet you most bands are playing Sabbath songs, so let's do an Ozzy song. And like when we came up, in rock and roll, listening to rock and roll in the '90s, Osmosis was out. And that song was the one on the radio. So, we started there and then dug back, and we're like, let's, Perry Mason was great.
Yeah.
And you can sing the hell out of it, so we should do it.
Oh my God, yeah. You were just, like I said, it was just, listening to you do that, I was just like, Jesus.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, from there, like, I always wanted, speaking of your voice, like, I'm just curious, how do you keep your voice, like, in such good shape? Like, you, like, I mean, you guys tour so much. I mean, like, I think you did like something like 250 dates last year or something like that. And the way you belt and the way your voice is so powerful. I'm not, how do you do it?
A lot of it is just, I've been doing it for such a long time. You end up really being in tune and listening to your own body. So like every day you're like, okay, how do I feel? What do I need to work out today? And it used to be in my 20s, I was doing like a regular, like, okay, I have like a 20 to a 30-minute warm up in the exact same way. I do it the exact same time every day. And I don't really do that anymore. It's more like feeling it out every day. So it's like you wake up, it's like, oh, okay, I got a little phlegm here. I got to make sure I hydrate. But it's a lot of dumb stuff. It's a lot of like trying to get enough sleep, which is the hardest thing. I waterboard myself every day. It's like 7 to whatever 10 bottles of water, whatever before we go on stage. You warm up to some degree, usually lightly and everything. But for the most part, it's for me now. That I'm in my early 40s. It's like it's trusting yourself almost. And so for me, it's the breath control and keeping up with my stamina and all of that. But nothing I do hurts. It's like I always have to like reassure people, especially people in my own family members that come and see the show. They're like, I don't know, you did this scream thing. We're worried about you. I'm like, it's okay. It sounds like I'm gargling razor blades, but I'm not. But yeah, I had an amazing teacher in the very beginning when I was 16 years old, Steve Whiteman from the band Kix.
Oh my God!
Back in the day, so we had a show. I was 16, and we had a show at this place called the Tourist Inn in Pelham, Pennsylvania.
Still there?
It's still there.
Yeah.
It's like just kind of a biker bar, and Steve Whiteman had his side project called Funny Money there. We ended up opening up for him.
Yep.
And we were sharing this tiny closet of a dressing room. And, he was doing these kind of like vocal acrobatics in a towel to kind of muffle it up. And me being the curious teenager, I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm warming up. Like, oh, what's that? At the time, I had no idea what I was doing. And so he's like, well, actually, they stuck me in the basement of Marty's music store. And I actually like teach vocal lessons. If you want to come down on Tuesday, I'll show you some stuff.
Wow.
And so I went down that Tuesday, and then I ended up continuing with him, and he taught me everything he knows. And and I've just kind of kept that as my foundation for many years.
Wow. I didn't know that. It's wild for me because, growing up in the New Jersey and that area, New York area, we would go see Kix all the time.
Oh yeah.
And but this is before they broke, before they broke big with their one album.
Yeah.
Like they were just one of the few bands I always remember that, like, and especially Steve, that you felt like you were in an arena in a small club with them.
He never called it in, not once.
No, never flew it in.
Till the very end. He's truly amazing, and what a sweetheart of a dude.
Yeah.
He was so incredibly patient with me, and I walked out of my lessons with him a completely different person. I had a confidence, a foundation, and really, I mean, like I've dabbled with other vocal teachers since then, but I really haven't done anything that has strayed from what he taught me, and I'm really proud of that, actually. So
he was also a great front person, right? He was. Outside of his vocals, he always knew how to hold a crowd just by talking to them, and I'm sure you probably picked up a few things from that as well.
Oh, absolutely. I remember, watching him, on stage and just being like, he's not nervous at all. How does he do that? And it's funny because I remember asking him that, and he's like, well, you play pretend first.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where it goes. So you have to pretend like you know what you're doing, and then you eventually know what you're doing, and it becomes old hat. And it's like, okay. And I don't know if it was him. Somebody, maybe it was him, but somebody ended up suggesting to me early on like instead of, because some people just kind of look at the back of the, the back of the crowd, or like they don't look at anybody. I was taught the opposite, suggested that I look at one individual person at a time. So I'm pretty sure I was freaking a lot of people out, being like a 15-year-old, 16-year-old in the bars. Just like I would go up to one person, just stare them down, singing to them until they looked away, and then I'm like, I win.
Got it.
And go to the next one. So like a lot of weird,
that little girl is freaking me out, man.
I don't know what's going on. But yeah, you do whatever you can to jump that hurdle. And I've always thought of myself as a reformed introvert, because I still very much am, in my normal life. It's like, there are definitely certain days where I'm just like, I don't want to people right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It just becomes kind of a part of a jacket you put on, or a uniform you put on every night,
Well, that's fantastic. Who are your big influences growing up? And I'm going to ask the same to you, Joe.
For me, it was Tom Kiefer from Cinderella, Ann Wilson, Heart. Let's see.
There's the Pat's Dog song, wasn't it?
There was the Pat's Dogs, yeah.
Pat's Dogs. Remember that
Is
commercial?
that commercial, Cinderella?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the one that did it.
That's right.
Pat's dogs! Pat's chili dogs! Pat's dogs!
It's like, I want to be like them. Hot dogs are awesome.
Chris Cornell, Ronnie James Dio, Janis Joplin, and it for me was a lot of classic rock, a lot of that type of deal, especially like, I grew up with parents who, like, their song was Panama by Van Halen. So it's like, if that gives you any indication to the kind of stuff that they, very early on, my brother and I were watching, Hard Day's Night and Help by the Beatles. So it's like, we had a pretty good foundation for the obsession for music.
What about you, Joe? Who are your big influences as, guitar playing?
I started out, I was a 90s kid. It was like anything that was on the radio, I was in, So it was Nirvana. That's what got me into music.
Interesting.
And then like then you just go from there in the Soundgarden and all the 90s stuff. And I didn't hear Jeff Buckley until like early 2000s.
And I've heard you playing a little bit of Buckley before.
I was like, do I remember how to play that? I don't know if I do. But that kind of like altered my whole musical, like what I thought, what music is capable of.
Yeah.
Just the emotional impact, and how, you can like move people. You can cause bumps if you do it right, and so it was that, and then getting into like
more the shred stuff.
Yeah, I'm just getting into more like, I've always loved Mike Campbell. I think he's just such a great guitar player.
Absolutely.
And so tasty.
Great vibrato.
Yeah, and like, he'll sing a melody with his fingers and then rip a lick at the end or something. It was always super tasteful.
Yeah.
With where he puts, some of the, because he can shred a little. He can rip a little, but it's always tasteful, and I've always enjoyed that, like the singing, the melodic stuff, and
I'm always struck by, since you said Campbell, I always thought his vibrato was interesting. It was like, unlike some other people, he would pull a note up and then kind of hold it and then start to pull
establish
it
down.
And then, and the same way his slide playing is very George Harrison like. That just like, oh, how did he come up with that? That's really interesting.
But like we've been fortunate enough to get to know like Dean DeLeo a little bit. He's such a great guitar player, and he's got a great slide feel too. I've never really dabbled in slide. We'll get there one day.
The DeLeo brothers were so kind to we wrote with them a little bit, nothing really ever came from it. But we jammed a lot together. They would come to our practice space, and we didn't have enough amps for everyone, so just plugged right into the board.
Yeah, the PA.
The PA, and made that sucker sing, man. That was amazing.
He's just a great guitar player.
Yeah.
Like all those chords and like the Soundgarden stuff. Like, can't beat that.
Yeah, listen, I get it. It's funny because I came out of sort of the hair metal stuff, and then when the whole grunge movement came, it was like so different, and it's just like you were saying, like you said, you're Nirvana. You suddenly looked at all those chords different. You're like, he just strung the same 5 chords I've always played, but he arranged it in such a way I would never think of it that way. That's really as you said, it makes you get the hairs on your arms sticking up because it's like, wow, really impactful.
Yeah.
Coming up with a great song, like what you guys do.
Thanks, man.
Songs are
Yeah,
hard,
songs. So yeah,
but also not at all. They're so weird.
Yeah, well, still.
it's like you're chasing something.
Sometimes it chases you down,
and sometimes
you
it
just have to
chases
do
you
it.
down. Yeah, and you have
But-
to. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it by the way for you songwriting? Is it a lot of guitar for you or more piano when you? When you come
It's
up with stuff?
both. It
A little
just
both?
depends on what's getting you excited.
Lately, you've been writing piano.
Yeah, lately it's
Like
been
this
it's
whole
been a lot
record,
of this.
You'd
Yeah.
you'd sit at the piano
Yeah, I don't
and
know
work
why.
out the melodies.
I feel like it's almost like, especially with like the four of us being in that house, like I feel like again, like I got kind of transported back to like before, like I started playing guitar at 16 because we lost our first guitar player. I'm like, well, someone has to learn.
Never found him either.
Never found him. Yep, that's still gone, still out there somewhere in the ether. Where'd you go? Just floated off. But yeah, there was some kind of childlike need for that, and then Dave Cobb had this really awesome upright piano with just kind of these.
What was on there? It was like muty or I don't know.
Yeah, it was. He has this kind of contraption that has there's a felt, just kind of I don't know, just like something with felt attached to it. So,
Feltonator.
and a pedal, so you could actually just like mute the whole thing, so it's not like super ringing out. So
Wow.
yeah, we use that
It's
all over
vibey.
the record. Yeah.
That's amazing. Sonically, Everest, I think, is your most exciting album, and if I dare I say, it's your most mature album to date, right?
No, thank you so much.
I mean, just me listening to it, that's what I hear, and overall, it has just this an epic feel to it. So, in a way, like if you really want to know who Halestorm is, like this album is it, I think.
Are you accusing us of growing up?
Yeah, I think so.
Rats, we were trying so hard not to. Thank you so much.
Well,
nice.
well, it's funny because I was doing a little bit of a deep dive into a lot of your work, and I was just like going, like, these guys are just ferocious, just like plowing through. And then this album is so introspective, but also heavy at the same time. So, were you going for this more of like an epic feel on this album compared to say your other albums? How did you get there?
We more or less, this is the first album where we kind of let the music tell us what to do, not the other way around. We didn't have a whole lot of time to think.
Yeah, it was. We were just writing songs every day and recording as we were writing. There was no demos and then thinking about it. It was just like make the music, on to the next song the next day, and I guess we must have been feeling epic.
Yeah, it really forced us to live in the moment, but it was interesting after a couple songs we realized like, wow, we're really like, it's almost like cinematic in a way. There was so many different moments that I don't think that we would have consciously come up with if we had had the time to think about it.
Yeah, because the funny thing is I think you've said it before, like each album for you has been sort of a snapshot of where you are in life. And it seems like this album is like you're addressing a lot of issues and a lot of like really big themes, I mean, the title track and the name of the album, is, to me, it's like it seems like there's introspective struggle, and it's almost like and lyrically it's powerful because sounds like you're pushing this proverbial rock uphill, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting to be in the same band for 28 years and the same four members for over 22 years. You become close, you grow with each other. My brother's in the band. He's my drummer, and he and I talk a lot about how like this should have never worked out. We're a bunch of dorks from Pennsylvania, had no idea how to write songs, play instruments, nothing. And just we wanted it so hard that we had to believe it into being. And so to kind of stand, at this point and, on a proverbial base camp of our mountain, and kind of look back on all the things that we've accomplished and all the moments on our bucket list that we've been able to tick off, and to still like each other as a four-piece and to be family out here on the road and still be loving what we do and still trying to push. And at the same time surrounded by, a really crazy industry that's constantly fluctuating in this world that's really heavy right now. I think all of those things ended up coming into play.
You said that for this album, you felt that the songs came to you rather than you digging for these songs, right? Like,
Yeah.
This would seem to be like an easier capture, I guess.
I wouldn't say easy. I think that it was necessary for us to make ourselves uncomfortable. We had done, I think, almost every album kind of in the same way, where it's like, you know, we make up a bunch of demos, we narrow everything down to like 15 songs. You go in, you do a couple different versions of each song, and you pick the best one, and then you put out the album, you go in and knock it out.
Yeah.
And, you know, with this album, we ended up doing it with Dave Cobb, who, you know, first day, he's like, oh, I don't want to work on anything you even did yesterday. Like, we want to just like live in the now. So at first we were like, oh my God, we are not prepared. What are we doing here? And then, you know, as we, you know, got in the swing of things, it was really cathartic. It was, but it was hard work to stay on that path.
But yeah, you know, you realize you go in with the shirt on your back and like 20 some years of being a band, and we got this, you know.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, we're fine. We can, and it's fun actually. Like, I loved it. It was like you write a guitar part and record it, and you play it once, and like I didn't remember half of what I recorded. We're going back trying to learn the songs. Like, what was I playing? Like,
Is that your work dynamic between the two of you? Like, do you get stuff down lyrically first, or like Joe has something, or you have something like on guitar? Have something?
Yeah, it depends on whatever gets us excited, and like, you know, we'll show each other different things, and then if we're, especially on this record, we were kind of like burning the candle at both ends and trying to meet in the middle. So yeah, it was
whatever
amazing.
works.
Yeah,
There's whatever, like,
so many ways to skin that cat.
Yeah. Well, it's like you were saying, I think I was reading some of the stuff that you were talking about the album, and you said like that one song, Rain Your Blood on Me, it was your war cry. And it seems like you said that you had this primal sense before you even fleshed out the idea of the song.
The feeling was there before everything kind of came together, and we just kind of had to chase that. And yeah, it's funny because with Rain Your Blood, like the title came out like almost immediately. We're like, what does that mean? You know, so I had to fill in the gaps from there. But yeah, I think the hardest thing that a band can learn to do is to trust yourself, and know that you're here for a reason. You're still here for a reason, and your instincts are valid. I think that in a world and in an industry where there's, you know, so many cooks in one kitchen, and there's so many different opinions and so many different sways and trends and this and that, for us to kind of be isolated from all of that to make this record was really, I think, beneficial. We did it in Savannah, Georgia, in the like middle of nothing. There's no real scene in Savannah, Georgia. They like their tea and you know, in bookstores,
right,
with actual books, you know, for you kids that don't do that anymore.
So basically, you they all piled in together and just like fleshed it all out, and put it.
It was awesome. Like we were in the rental car going to this house studio that Dave Cobb has in Savannah for the first time, and we were like looking at the guys. I'm like, when was the last time that we were all like, before it was just in a house together, unsupervised? Like, it was pretty incredible. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, you like, the whole main level is like a studio, and then upstairs is bedrooms, and it's like studio, and then there was just a bunch of alcohol and
snacks, and
we're like, this is great.
Wow, it's like Google for musicians, right? Like their own little thing. That's great. The one thing I wanted to say about that "Rain Your Blood on Me," I love the song is great.
Thank you.
I love that the tribal element to it. Like it starts off one way, and then it goes in a totally another direction, which I thought was cool. And you're playing, Joe, on that album, on that song, just fantastic. The lead work and just the riff.
That's one of my favorite leads and riffs that he did on the record. It's like it's so, and then the left and right turns. You know, that's something that we were very
keeps moving. Like all lyrically, there's some, like almost everything is this bit of a struggle, but it's perfectly matched to your music. Like it's an interesting. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, I think that part of my MO on this album was I didn't want to sugarcoat anything anymore. I think that on previous albums I had felt, you know, maybe this kind of subconscious responsibility that if I'm going to be talking about something hard or something darker, that I have to have this kind of silver lining or this rainbow at the end of the tunnel. And you know, after a little while, I started thinking I'm going to be doing our audience kind of a disservice by doing that, because I don't know if everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have the you know, the know-all, you know, crystal ball to see if to tell everyone that everything's going to be all right. But the only thing that I can really guarantee is that, you know, I individually am going to keep getting up and trying again. So for me, you know, once I kind of let that go, there was a lot of, you know, a lot of those things that started to come to the surface. And with Darkness Always Wins, that was the first song we wrote, you know, first session with Dave Cobb. And it was a title that, you know, Joe and I had from literally like the night before. We're out on our porch talking about like just the doom of the world and be like, why does evil always prevail? Why did the good ones go first? We're trying so hard to be good people, you know, all of this. And when Dave Cobb kind of like made like the statement, it's like, dude, we're not doing demos, nothing that you worked on yesterday. Like, what's the last thing you have in your notebook? And like, I had written that down. I'm like, well, we have this title, Darkness Always Wins. It's like, that's great. Let's go with that. And so, yeah, it rolled out. I ended up sitting at the piano and it came together fairly quickly. Yeah, so that was one of the first songs that we recorded with Dave Cobb. And it's funny because now I listen to that track and I can hear this like hunger and this almost just like we were proving our worth in that first.
Yeah,
in that first
it was
recording.
cool that we made the record over 2 years. So it was
Really?
like that was like April 23. We had just put out the other record and we're like, you know, just like this record's out now, we're like thinking on to the next one already. But we went down and did that song and to see how it would be working with Dave, and we loved it and went back in the fall, like September, October, something like that, and did like 2 weeks, did a whole another chunk of songs, and then went back in the spring. It's like a spring fall, and toured in between. So every time we go back in, you got to kind of listen to what you did before it's like hearing it for the first time, because you kind of go away and tour and take your brain elsewhere. And it was cool. It was a neat process instead of knocking out a record in a few months.
Yeah.
You know, where you're just living in it. You got to kind of escape from it and then go back and be like, oh, that's really working, or that did not work at all. Okay, we tried though.
The first half of your album is a really great flow. Like the songs are very cohesive and very, so just very powerful. And then as you get towards the end, then it's like I start to hear the older Halestorm influences and things like that. But how do you think your fans will receive the album?
The most amazing thing for me is that before the album was even out, there were people that were kind of, we started playing a lot of the songs out live. And then all of a sudden, over the course of a couple weeks, you start seeing people show up to the show with like their own different interpretation of what they think the lyrics are from watching the YouTube videos and all of that. And, you know, so I start sneaking out the lyrics a little bit, you know, and just giving them a leg up.
And like a lot of the idea with the record was like, how do you like one of the grander concepts was like, what would arena rock sound like modern arena rock, right? How do you make something that breathes and is big and will sound good in big boomy buildings, you know? And something we've thought about before but never really executed, I don't think.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I got from listening to your album is that you guys really utilized space. You made it like that's why, maybe why I say it sounds so epic to me. Because usually some of the Halestorm stuff that I'm familiar with is like you guys
fill it up
through is powerful.
And
this one
Filling up space. Leave no stone unturned. Yes.
But this one was just like, wow, there's some really thoughtful moments but it's married to like really great riffs, and you know you got your guitar playings is fantastic on this album. So real great stuff. Is there any particular track on there that has a real special significance to you or to both of you? I mean, one of my favorites on the album is Shiver. I thought that really stood out to me. What a great song. And but I don't know how about for you? Is there any?
Shiver is definitely one of my absolute favorites. Same thing with How You Remember Me, just because I've been wanting to write my funeral song for a long period of time.
So dark.
I know. Come on. You know, if you're going to do it, go all the way. But I guess, I mean, I guess I'll say Shiver. Shiver's special to me. It's interesting because the cadence of, you know, I started out in piano first.
Yeah.
In this, you know, in this band, and that chord progression in the verses is very reminiscent of like something that I had written when I was 14 years old. So every time we play it, it's kind of like home to me. Subject matter wise, it's a little heartbreaking. It means something different to me all the time now.
Yep.
You know, at first it was just kind of like talking about, you know, being in a situation where it's kind of hard. You're a little hard to love at the moment, and you know, and now it's like for me it's like situational. It's like the line, it's like I can't give you up and stay in one piece. Like that could be my life at any given moment. You know, I you know, and or you know, even certain parts of myself. It's like the things that you can't necessarily drop off without completely, you know, burning the house down. So.
That's amazing, right? And it's all framed within powerful vocals and everything else. It's great.
Oh,
that great vulnerability, but sounds, wow, it's just, yeah, I just thought, like, I was really blown away by it. I did not go, I went into it expecting something totally different. And when I went listened to it, I was just like, wow, this guy's really got their stuff together. This is new.
That's another one that was like hard to keep the space open because it's like, da,
Yeah.
da, da, da. Like, it's like,
Yeah, you know how hard it is to just hit a chord and
you feel
not
like
do other things.
like you remember the Muppet Show back in the day, right? So there's this, I forget what episode, but there was something with where Animal like ends up being like a part of an orchestra, and he doesn't have his drum kit, he just has the triangle.
Yes.
And he's got to wait like measures upon measures just to go ding. It's like that's what it feels like sometimes. You just want to make noise, and it's like
It's that anxiety as you're waiting there, right?
We talk about that all the time on stage. Of like space.
Yeah.
We did this on purpose.
That's amazing. Is there any sort of dream collaboration that you guys would love to do? Like, is there anyone in your
Man, yeah, who's left in the bucket
Yeah.
list, Joe? You know, I suppose we'd probably do anything with Metallica because why not?
Yeah.
We'd say yes to that.
It'd be fun to do something with the Foos.
Yeah.
Still haven't toured with them. Have we even played? I don't think we even played the same festival as
This
them.
is your chance to tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
Are you
Dave.
listening?
Let's pick it up.
Let's play some rock and
We have a
roll.
lot of mutual friends. We've met a couple times, actually.
That's right.
Let's get this together. Who else? I mean, we're really in love with Turnstile right now. Like, I'd love to do something with those guys. I think they're brilliant.
What else have we been listening to? I don't know. It's always changing.
That was also my other follow-up question was like, is there anybody out there that you guys have been listening to, like artists that you've been digging, or who's on your playlist?
You know, you got to listen to Battlesnake.
Battlesnake, yeah. It was just
This Australian like metal band. It's metal with a smile. It's like, to me, it's like if like Judas Priest and Ghost kind of have a Strange Baby.
Wow.
That, you know, was
a
special.
strange baby.
But they're all players and they're really good, and it's really fun. Like, I watched live. I haven't seen them live. The records are really cool.
Yeah.
And the videos I've seen of them live are hilarious. I don't know what it looks like. They're having a great time.
Awesome.
But yeah, check out Battlesnake.
Battlesnake. All right. That's very cool. And so now, since you've been out on tour, any sort of mishaps, any Spinal Tap moments for you guys?
Constantly. Have you seen the new Spinal Tap?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my God, it's great.
Yeah, we just saw it the other night.
Oh, it's good.
And
It's amazing.
it's, you know,
So funny.
it's not satire anymore.
It's just-
You know, it's just the way it is.
I'm talking about his pedal board is one of the great, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, no, every
we
day
see
is-
ourselves reflected far too much.
Like, we have a bunch of new production on this tour, and like, it's Spinal Tap all the time.
All
Like,
the time.
sitting there and just confetti just goes, and you're like,
Where was that supposed to be?
who leaned on the
know.
button? What the fuck is going on here?
Oh, that's
Or it just doesn't. Like, well, glad we spent the money on that today. Like,
we have some
thanks,
blow-up
guys.
contraptions that we've been using in different parts of the set, and
Yeah,
some work
it's
better
great.
than others.
It's,
Yeah, it's great.
It's chaos, but it's just a rock show. It should be chaos.
That's awesome. What would be your advice to any aspiring musicians who want to do what you guys do to make a living in this industry? I know you said that you guys had made it a point, like, we're going to do this. And I think which is really incredible, you know, that.
Well, you know, it's funny. I found a notebook from when we decided that, and it's like It's like it was a Trapper Keeper, I think.
It was.
It's just like a page of like every bar in a 50-mile radius, and call them if they had music. Cool, who you talk to and their number, and if they didn't, just cross them out. And we just called every one of them, and able to pay rent playing music, and like we can play for 4 hours, learn some covers, but we kept it very original, and and just start doing it, and that's like boot camp, like
Yeah.
we learned how to entertain a crowd. And I think Halestorm played like 1,500 shows before we signed to Atlantic in 05.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, and we just haven't stopped. It's been the same mentality, and watching bands like Deftones right now kind of have their moment, like the biggest they've ever been.
Yeah.
They're 30 some years in, I think.
I think they're classic rock now.
Yeah.
Right.
But you just don't stop. You just
keep doing it.
You make moments, you don't stop.
I think that our biggest superpower in the beginning was our naivete, and I would say to anyone wanting to start a band or playing out live, don't wait until you think you know what you're doing, or you think you're perfect, or you think that you're up to stuff. Just don't wait. And don't be afraid of making mistakes. That's how you learn. Don't be afraid of failure. That's how you learn. That's how you get better. But for us, it's like I said before, we just had to believe so hard that we were capable of eventually figuring it out, that we eventually figured it out, and
we haven't figured it out.
Well, actually, whatever. We're still figuring it out.
What's going on.
But that's,
You're humble enough to
but that's the
admit
beauty
it.
of it, because I feel like if you are waiting for some other type of approval, or somebody to say, oh, you're this or that, it's like, you're going to be waiting your entire life, and you're going to be so scared to
The real currency
go for it.
isn't like likes or views on videos. The real currency is making people go woo.
Yeah, it's true. Woos are
We
our
can make
currency.
them cheer.
Yeah.
You did something right, and just make that happen every time you play a song.
Yeah, moments.
That's amazing. Well, there you have it. That's sage advice from Lizzie and Joe from
There are no
Halestorm.
rules.
There are no rules.
There are no rules.
Nobody actually knows what they're doing.
Make up your own
It's
as
a
you
trap.
go. That's fantastic. Well, check them out. Halestorm on tour with their new album, Everest.
Woo.
You'll love the album, as I do. And thank you again for coming.
Do you want to know some trivia?
I do.
We just learned this, that the Beatles were going to call Abbey Road Everest. That was the original title. Did you know that? I just learned that.
I didn't know that. I actually have two of my other colleagues who are like diehard Beatles fans, and if they were here, they go like, "Yeah, Joe, we know that."
Yeah, apparently they were going to fly to Everest and do a photo shoot. Then they were like, "Nah, let's just go outside.
Let's just go outside, go across the street."
Call it Abbey Road instead. I just found out. That's not why we named it Everest.
No,
but
we didn't know that, and I'm glad we didn't know that, because that probably would have hindered
I
our
would
decision.
have
Yeah,
not called it that, but
yeah.
it's
See,
got you, Beatles.
The more you know.
This is the kind of band you want to hang out with. I just love it. This is great. Awesome. Well, thank you guys again.
Thank you
for having
Everest, Halestorm.